Good morning, guys. Good morning. Can you hear me? 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 If you can hear me, please, I'd like to know. Confirm you can hear me. Confirm you can see my screen. Good morning. I hope your week has been great. So, all my Nigerian brothers, I wish you a happy holiday. Hope your week has been great. Hope you've made some money this week. So, what's your plan for today? What pair are you looking at today? Let me know in the comment section. What pair are you planning to trade today? Let me know. What's your plan? What's your plan? As a trader, you're supposed to have your plan before execution. Good morning, Mr. Abu. Good morning, Wisdom. Yeah. What do you want us to look at? What page do you want us to look at? Let me know in the comment section. Good, Wisdom. Okay, good. Okay, so let's look at the fundamentals for today. We are expecting major news from the United States by 1:30. Core PPI, that's Production Price Index, will be released by 1:30. Okay, so if you're considering trading USD pairs, I would advise you wait for this major news to be released. Okay, so you should be looking for your setup between 2 and 3 o'clock. That will be the right time for you to execute any trade on USD pairs. But if you insist on taking a trade before the news is released, be conservative. Okay, be conservative. Don't go all in. Okay, if you want to execute a trade before the news is released. Okay, so that's my take for the dollar. Okay, so let's look at dollar index. What's happening on dollar index? Dollar index has been bearish since yesterday. After CPI data was released, you can see CPI as dollar has been bearish because the data that was released was negative for the dollar. It was negative for the dollar, so it's been bearish. But I'd like to see dollar index pull back to this zone. Okay, I would like to see dollar index pull back to this zone, hopefully before the news is released or after the news is released. I would like to see dollar index pull back to this zone. So if you are not currently selling the dollar, if you're not selling the dollar at the moment, patiently wait for price to pull back to this zone. Okay, so that's my take on the dollar for today's market. If you're not selling the dollar at the moment, patiently wait for price to pull back. Patiently wait for price to pull back to this zone before you sell dollar. Dollar is bearish. Dollar is bearish. Okay, dollar is bearish. But wait for pullback. If you don't have any trade, if you are not selling the dollar at the moment, okay, wait for pullback before you take any trade. Wait for pullback. Okay, wait for pullback on the dollar. Okay, so dollar is still very bearish at the moment. It's still very bearish at the moment. Let's see the daily. Daily close bearish. Okay, so it's bearish. It's going for this liquidity residing at this low. That's its first target. It's going for the liquidity residing at this low. And if it clears that liquidity, let's see weekly. If it clears that liquidity, let's see what we have on the weekly time frame. Let's see the monthly. Okay, so it's likely going to come for, it closes below this low after clearing the liquidity here. It's likely going to come down to this low. Okay, I think this is where it's coming to. Okay, so dollar is bearish at the moment. Dollar is bearish at the moment. Dollar is bearish at the moment. Okay, so that's my take on the dollar. Dollar is bearish, but I would like to see price pull back before selling dollar. Okay, I would like to see price pull back before selling dollar. Okay, so that's my take for the dollar today. Dollar is bearish. Dollar is bearish. Okay. Good morning, Ebuka. Okay. We'll look at all the pairs. Just be patient. Okay, so let's look at on yen basket. What's happening on yen basket? Yen has been bullish since the market opened today. Yen has been bullish, and the news that was released for GBP this morning, GDP, gross domestic product for Great Britain, was negative for GBP. So you can see that GBP JPY has been strongly bearish. GBP JPY has been strongly bearish because the GDP data for Great Britain was negative. So GBP JPY has been strongly bearish. You can see yen it has been bullish. You can see yen has been bullish. Okay, yen has been bullish, and yen just filled a fair value gap here. You can see, so it's likely going to fall from that. Okay, you can see it has filled this fair value gap. So GBP JPY is likely going to, I'm sorry, yen is likely going to sell from this zone. So look out for your sell setup. Look for your sell setup from this zone. You can see the previous 4-hour candle close as a shooting star, though a bullish shooting star. Before you sell, you want to wait for the next candle to close bearish before you sell. Okay, the sell is not confirmed yet. Until the next candle closes bearish and it respects this previous high, the sell is not set yet. You have to wait for the current 4-hour candle to close bearish, ensure that it doesn't close above this high before you sell. Well, after the close of 4 hour, let's see what's happening on 1 hour and 15 minutes time frame. So you can see on 1 hour we have a bearish reversal pattern here. Can you see that? We had a doji, and they know a lot of retail traders would have executed sell after the formation of this doji. What did they do? They had to clear the liquidity residing at this high and the high of this doji. That's what has played out this morning. And if you go back, go left, you will see we have a fair value gap here. Okay, we have this tiny fair value gap here. Price also tested that gap before pulling back. So if the current 4-hour closes bearish, then we should look for sell. What I see on yen is sell. Look for sells on yen. But let's look at 15 minutes. Let's see if there's a shift in market structure on 15 minutes. If there's no shift in market structure on 15 minutes, it's not set yet. It is not set yet. Okay. Shift in market structure has not occurred on 15 minutes. Okay, it hasn't occurred on 15 minutes. You should be considering selling if 1 hour candle closes below this level. Okay, this should be the area you should be considering selling. 1 hour candle should close below the low of this candle. I hope that is clear. So that is my take on let's just see 5 minutes. I think shift the market structure might have occurred on 5 minutes. Let's see, shift the market structure occurred here. And let's break out from this. So we need to wait for price to clear this low before you consider going bearish on yen. So my bias for yen today is sell. Okay, yen is weak, dollar is weak. Yen is weak, dollar is weak. Okay, so let's look at currency pairs. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, let me use trading view. Let's start with GBP USD. Okay, so this is GBP USD. Let's start with the daily time frame. Yesterday was strongly bullish. CPI was negative for the dollar, and that is why GBP USD bought. Immediately the news got released and it was negative. US on GBP USD started buying. Buy was a very strong one, very strong buy. Okay, and it is still bullish. It is still bullish, but this is not the right time to buy. You cannot buy at the current market price. GBP USD is coming for this high, but I don't think this is the right time to buy. Look at where price started going up. This is where price started going up. So it won't make sense for you to start buying from the current market price. You want to wait for price to pull back to a discount area. Okay, and the discount area will be this fair value gap at the discount. This should be a very good zone to consider buying. Okay, this would be a very good zone to consider buying. Okay, this would be a very good zone. I see this as a trap for retail traders. I see this low, the low of this candle, as a trap for retail traders. A lot of retailers that have jumped in to start buying, and their stop losses will be at this low. So I see this as a trap for retail traders. So there's a high probability they will come and clear the liquidity residing at this low. Then also, this will be the next draw on liquidity. So this will be good. This will be a very good area to consider buying. Okay, I will not advise that you buy from this zone. If you buy from this zone, your stop loss must be below this fair value gap. Your stop loss must be below this fair value gap, and that risk from this point will be very high. Imagine taking a risk, executing a buy, you're setting your stop loss here, and your first target is at this level. That's a very poor risk reward. Very poor risk reward. So it's best to wait for price. So if you want to take any trade now, we had a doji here. This is 4 hour. The next candle close bearish. If I want to take any trade on GBP USD now, it will be a sell. Okay, I'll just take a sell and aim for this low. Risk maybe 20 pips. My stop loss will be just 2 or 3 pips above this high. Then my TP will be at this point. That should be like 20 to 40 pips. 20 pip risk to 40 pip. Okay. But if 4-hour candle breaks out from this resistance, if 4-hour candle breaks out from this resistance, then we should expect more buy. Price might not pull back to this fair value gap if 4-hour candle breaks out. Okay, so that's my GBP USD. I'm looking for buys on GBP USD, but I want to see price retrace. I want to see retracements on GBP USD before buying it. Okay, it is buy. Dollar is weak. Dollar is weak. Okay, let's see EU. Whoa, GBP USD, Euro USD has been bullish. You don't have a buy trade on GBP USD now. On Euro USD, please don't buy. I will not advise that you buy. It's overbought already. You need to wait for price to retrace to a discount area. This will be a very good area to consider, buying. If price doesn't pull back to this zone, I won't buy. Okay, price should pull back to this zone. This is our discount area. This is our discount area. And you can see this discount is in confluence with this resistance. Can you see? Is in confluence with this resistance on support. And we also had this support here. So this would be a very good area to consider joining the trend. Okay. So we have this breaker block here. You can see breaker block is here also. Okay, so that's my take. Look for buys at this zone. So if you're looking for sales, if you see a sell setup, on EU, you could risk it. You could risk it or patiently wait for price to pull back to this zone. Okay, if you're counter trading, and when you are trading pullbacks, you should risk less. Okay, risk less. If you see your sell setup, you could go ahead and sell Euro USD. You can't buy at the current market price. If you buy at the current market price, you're taking a very high risk. You're taking a very high risk. Okay. Euro USD has done over 150 pips from this point to this point, 150 pips. So if you didn't buy from this point after this breakout, why would you want to buy from this point? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay. USD card. Look for sales on USD card. Look for sales on USD card. Look for sales on USD card. Okay, let's start with weekly. Okay, look for sales. Look for sales. USD card is coming to fill this fair value gap. Okay, it's coming to fill this fair value gap. If it breaks out from this fair value gap, the next draw on liquidity will be this low. Okay, low, and below that low is this. This is where I think USD card is coming to. This is where USD card is coming to. USD card is coming to this zone. Okay, USD card is coming to this zone. Now, if you decide to sell from the current market price, let's see the risk involved. 1.3644, 1.3644 stop loss. Let's say your stop loss is here, 3644, 3726. That's about 80 pips. 80 pip risk. Okay, 80 pip risk, and your target is let's say you're targeting 1.3341. If you are patient, you let the trade run to this zone, even if it's this zone, 1.3423. That's about 260 pips. Yeah, that's about 160 pips from this point to this point, about 170 pips, and the risk will be 80 pips. Okay, so it's still a good trade, but I would like to see USD card do a little retracement. I would like to see it do a little retracement before selling it. I would have loved to see USD card pull back to this fair value gap. Okay, I would have loved USD card to pull back to this. I wish I'm the market maker. Okay, I would have loved to see, I would have pushed price back up to this zone. Okay, so that's my expectation on USD card. And I think you can see we had this high. This was on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So there's a high probability they might want to clear the liquidity residing at that high. Okay, this liquidity here. Okay, there are a lot of retail traders who have expected sell, and there are a lot of stop losses residing at this high and also this high. So there's a high probability they will come to fill, clear the liquidity, and also fill this gap before going bearish. Okay, that's what I see playing out on USD card. You can see the market has been ranging for some days now, 2 to 3 days, I think. USD card has been ranging. So probably what they want to do is to firstly clear the liquidity residing sell side liquidity. They want to clear sell side liquidity. After clearing sell side liquidity, then they will now go for buy side liquidity. Then from there they would sell. I think that's what is playing out now on 4-hour time frame USD card. They want to clear liquidity residing at this sell side before. So if you see a buy setup after the liquidity gets cleared, you could look for buys on USD card. Okay, you can look for buys on USD card, and that should play out before the news. If it doesn't play out before the news, if the news comes out negative for the dollar, then price might not pull back to this zone. If the news is negative for the dollar, it might not pull back to this zone. It might just keep selling. It might just keep selling. Okay, that like what played out yesterday. I was expecting GBP to do a little retracement. I was expecting dollar to do a little retracement, but because the news was negative for the dollar, it didn't retrace. It didn't retrace. So same thing could play out today. If the news comes out negative for the dollar, price might not retrace back to this pullback. That's the reason I missed on the trade on GU and EU yesterday. I was waiting for the retracement. It didn't happen because of the major news that was negative for the dollar. Same thing could play out today. But if it is positive for the dollar, then we should expect price to pull back to fill this fair value gap before selling. Okay. If the news is positive for dollar, we should wait for price to pull back to this zone before we sell it. I hope that is clear. Good morning, Mr. Anayo. Good morning, Mr. Atonda. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, please let me know in the comment section. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done that. Give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done that. And if it's your first time participating on the live stream, please do subscribe to the channel so that anytime I come on live, you get notified by YouTube. Okay? If there's any pair you want me to analyze, let me know. So look at GBP USD, Euro USD, USD card. Okay, someone says look at gold and GBP-JPY. Okay, let's see GBP-JPY, then we'll look at gold. Like I said, JPY is likely going to go bearish soon. Yen is likely going to go bearish soon. So I would suggest you look for buys. Okay, look for buys on GJ. I would suggest you look for buys on GJ. Just wait for your setup. Once you see a good buy setup on GJ, then you could risk it. Okay. So let me see. Let me start with the daily. Okay. So far today it's been bearish. I feel GBP-JPY would come for these highs. I feel GBP-JPY would come for these buys. Okay. So let's go down to now. I think they've cleared the liquidity residing at this low. This was the low of Tuesday. This was the low of Tuesday. Liquidity residing at that low has been swept. Let's go down to 4 hour. Okay, so we also had this low here on 4 hour time frame. That has been cleared. Okay, that has been cleared. Okay, so I think this is a trap. They are still going to clear these lows. I think this is a trap. This is a relatively equal low. They are likely going to come for this low before going bullish. Okay, and on 4 hour time frame, we have this fair value gap here. 4 hour time frame, they might want to come fill this fair value gap. So if 4 hour candle closes below this low, there's a high probability they would come fill this fair value gap. Okay, they might come for that fair value gap. Let me go down to 1 hour time frame. On 1 hour, okay. We also had a fair value gap here, which was filled at this point. Okay, the fair value gap that created there. Okay, this fair value gap got filled at this point. Okay, so they might want to come and retest this fair value gap. Okay, they've already retested that fair value gap, right? Yeah, price has already tested that fair value gap. So if price breaks out from this zone, it might come for this fair value gap. Okay, so that's what I see playing out on. Okay, if you see your buy setup, here, you can risk buying it. But if price breaks out from this zone, if price breaks out from this zone, then it's likely they will come for this zone. Okay. If 4 hour candle closes above this zone, you might buy in. If 4 hour candle, the current 4 hour candle closes above this zone, you might want to risk buying. Your stop loss will be several pips below this level. Okay, say 10, 20 pips below this level. Let's say 15 minutes. If shift in market structure has occurred 15 minutes. So on 15 minutes, shift in market structure has not occurred. It has not occurred. You can see price just tested this area and there's a strong rejection from that zone. You can see that shift in market structure has not occurred. Okay. Market structure has not occurred, so you can see price just tested that level and there's been a strong rejection from there. That rejection could be to come and fill this fair value gap. Okay, so you could also look for buys after this fair value gap. You can see on 15 minutes we have a bullish reversal pattern. We have an engulfing pattern here. We had two spinning but indicating change in trend from bearish to bullish. So you could look for sales. If a buy setup, if you see a buy pattern after price gets into this zone, you could buy. Okay, so that's my take on GJ. Okay, that's my take on GJ. But if 4 hour closes below this zone, please, you expect more sales. So if you are buying from this zone, your stop loss should be a few pips below this zone. Okay, because if price breaks this low, then we should expect more drop. Okay, should expect GJ. So that's my take on GJ. I hope that is clear. So if you want to buy GJ, you want to ensure that JPY is selling. Okay, you want to ensure yen basket is selling. You see a sell setup on yen basket before you buy GJ. See yen basket. Okay, so you need to ensure you can see yen has not, the shifting market structure has not occurred on yen, so it's not ready to sell. It's not ready to sell, and you can see JPY also is not ready to buy. It's not ready to buy. So there has to be a shift in market structure before you consider buying GJ. Okay, So that's my take on GJ. So let's look at gold. Gold. Let's look at gold. Okay. Hmm. Gold 15 minutes. Gold 15 minutes. Let me start with the daily. Yesterday was strongly bullish on gold. Yesterday was strongly bullish on gold. Okay. And today, both buyers and sellers, they've been dragging the price up and down. They've been dragging the price. You can see what we have now looks like an indecision candle at the moment. Neither buyers nor sellers are in control. Okay. Neither buyers nor sellers are in control. So this is what we have on the daily time. We had the resistance here. We had this resistance here. I think price has tested. We had this resistance. Okay, we also had this resistance here. Price is inside that zone. Okay, it's inside that zone now. Let's see for our okay for our previous candle. It's what's it called? A spinning top. This is a spinning top, and here we had a fair value gap. Okay, so this pullback could just be to clear the liquidity residing at this high. You can see this high here. You know, a lot of retail traders would have executed sell after the formation of this shooting star, or you call it a spinning top. You know, a lot of retail traders would have executed sell, and their stop losses will be residing at this high. So what have they done this morning? You can see they've gone to sweep the liquidity residing at this previous high. And immediately they've cleared the liquidity, they swept the liquidity. What happened? You can see the massive drop on gold. Okay, massive drop on gold. And gold pulled back to fill this fair value gap. You can see this fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame. And there's a strong rejection from that fair value gap. You can see strong rejection from that fair value gap. And now I know this low now might be used as liquidity. This low might be used as liquidity. Gold is still very bullish, but this first attempt, I think, is just a trap for retail traders to start buying. Okay, and this low here will be used as liquidity. So I'm expecting gold to pull back. Gold is likely going to drop to this level. Okay, it's likely going to come retest this level before going bullish. My bias for gold today is buy, please. It is buy, but I want to see price pull back. Now, below this low here, you can see we had a fair value gap here on 1 hour, which didn't get filled. They didn't fill this fair value gap. So they might come back. They might push price back down to this level. Okay. I'm expecting price to pull back to come and fill this fair value gap. So this is where I'll be considering buying gold, this zone. Okay, this is where I'll be considering buying gold. At the moment, if I want to take a trade, it will be sell. It will be sell because what we call IOFED. Those of you trade ICT concepts, I believe this is an IOFED. I might be wrong, but I think. Okay, because you can see we had the low of this candle. When the low of a candle falls in between a fair value gap, it is said to be an IOFED. That is institutional order flow entry drill. That is the meaning. IOFED, institutional order flow entry drill. Okay, so you can see we have this low here, we have this low here, we have this low here, which is in confluence with this fair value gap. So that's an IOFED. So price is likely going to drop from that zone, come to fill this fair value gap. That's my take on gold. Gold is buy. Gold is buy. Okay, but I would suggest you wait for price to pull back to this zone before you buy. That is what I see playing out on gold. That is what I see playing out on gold. Gold is buy. Gold is buy, but I want to see gold retrace, okay, before buying it. If gold retraces to this zone, I'm going to buy it to this level. This will be my first target on gold if it retraces to this zone, okay? You can see it has created fair value gaps on 15 minutes, and there's a high probability to come and fill these fair value gaps. So this is where you should be considering, buying gold. Okay, so that's my take on gold. Gold is bullish. Okay, but I want to see price retrace into this zone before buying gold. Is there any other pair you want us to look at? Please let me know in the comment section. If there's any other pair you want us to look at, let me know in the comment section. How has been your trading? I hope it's been profitable. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section. You're not profitable, seek for help. Seek for help, seek for mentorship if you are not profitable. Okay? No one is an island of knowledge in this business. Don't be ashamed to seek for mentorship, seek for help. Okay? Seek for help. If you're not profitable, it means you might be doing something wrong. You might be doing something wrong. Seek for mentorship. Seek for mentorship. Okay? All those money you are blowing, if you have used it to pay for mentorship, by now you'll be profitable. That's where most newbie traders get it wrong. Instead of going for mentorship, paying for mentorship first, they'll say, let me trade. If I make money, if I make profit, I will not go and pay for mentorship. That is where you get it wrong. You blow that money. Knowledge first. Go for knowledge first. Most people that have made that decision of, let me trade. When I trade, I make money, I'll pay for mentorship. 99% of them blow accounts. 99% of them blow accounts. Most who think they can learn from just YouTube they don't need mentorship. 99% of them blow their money. They lose money, but you don't have to lose money before you acquire the right information. Okay, you don't have to lose money before you acquire the right information. Seek for mentorship. I'm not asking you to. It might not be. I might enroll for my mentorship. There are other mentors there, good mentors there you can go for. Okay, my trading style might not. You might not like my trading style. You can go learn from, but seek mentorship. People that are experienced, people that are ahead of you in this game. Don't do it on your own. You blow account. I did it on my own. I blew account. I learned the hard way. The hard way. It was the grace of God that saw me through. It was the grace of God. Any question? Is there? Okay, GBP card, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, you just joined the class. GBP card. Okay, let's see GBP card. Mr. Mayor, you just joined the class. GBP card. GBP card. Let's start with the daily. Okay, let me start with the weekly because I've not looked at it this week. I've not looked at GBP card this week. Okay, so based on what's on the weekly time frame, I think this is a buy. This is a buy. Okay, reason being that you can see here they've cleared liquidity residing at this previous low. Last week low has been cleared. When the low of 2 weeks ago has been cleared. Okay, so this is a buy setup for me. Okay, let's see daily. Let's see daily. Few minutes. Okay. Okay, so you can see yesterday candle closed bullish. This is a buy for me. This is a buy for me. And the reason, okay, also for this pullback from this level, if you go down to lower time frame, let's say 4 hour at this point, I believe the fair value gap was created after the formation of this pattern. Let's see, let's confirm that on 4 hour. That is the reason price came down to this level. Let's see 4 hour. Okay. So you can see on hour, you can see on 4 hour, we had this fair value gap, and I think that's the reason for that pullback. Can you see this fair value gap on 4 hour? Price just tested that zone, and there was a strong rejection from that zone yesterday. You can see it. Can you see that? So this would have been a good buy for GBP card. After the formation of this, we had a doji here and we had an hammer candle. So this would have been the best entry. This would have been the best entry for GBP card. This would have been the best entry for GBP card. Okay. So if you're considering buying GBP card, they might want to come and clear this low. Okay, they might want to come and clear this low. I see this as a level of liquidity they might come for later on. Okay, let's see. If you go down to lower time frame, maybe there's a fair value gap here. It came to fail on the lower time frame. Let's confirm that. Let's see 15 minutes. Let's see 15 minutes. Okay, let's see 1 hour before we go down to 15 minutes. So you can see on 1 hour, we had this fair value gap here on 1 hour. Was that gap filled? This gap was not filled. Okay, this gap was not filled. So there's a high probability they will come and retest this zone again. Okay, so it is buy. GBP card is buy. I would advise you wait for price to pull back to this zone. Okay, look for buys if price pulls back to this zone or this zone. That is what I would suggest. Okay, if price pulls back to this zone and a bullish reversal pattern forms, you want to buy from this zone, set your stop loss at this zone. If price breaks out from this zone, you want to wait for price to come fill this gap and you buy from this gap. As you can see, we still have a fair value gap here on you can see this fair value gap here. They might also want to come and fill this fair value gap. So if you are buying from this zone, your stop loss should be at this low. Okay, if you buy from this zone, your stop loss should be at this zone. If you are buying from this zone, your stop loss should be at this low because we still have a fair value gap here. They might come to fill. Okay, so that is it for GBP card. It's a buy. It's a buy. GBP card is buy. GBP card is buy. GBP card is buy. I'm about to select Mr. Mayor. GBP card is buy. Okay, GBP card is buy. Shifting market structure occurred at this point on 15 minutes time frame. Shifting market structure occurred at this point. So there's a high probability they will come to this level. They will come to test this level. You can see we have a fair value gap here also on the 15 minutes time frame, which is in confluence with this breaker block. Okay, that could be the next drawn liquidity. Okay, so you can see it's in confluence with this breaker block. So that would be a very good location to buy. So you could look for sales. Okay, you can see the pattern we have here. This is a bearish reversal pattern. Okay, this is a bearish reversal pattern. If you go down, let's go back to 1 hour. It's a bearish reversal pattern. So if the current 1 hour closes bearish, you might want to risk selling GBP card to this zone. This should be your first target, GBP card. Any other question? Any other question? If you have any question, please let me know. Let me know. If you have any question, let me know. Let me know. Is there any other pair you want me to analyze? Mr. Abu, Mr. Wisdom, Ebuka, Mr. Nayo, Mr. Thunder, Mayo. Is there any other pair you want me to analyze? Let's look at 1 or 2 more, then we'll end the session if you have any. Let me know if you have any question. Dollar is still very bearish. Would dollar pull back? Would dollar pull back? I would love to see dollar pull back. Dollar should do a little retracement so that I can join the trend. Dollar should do a little retracement so that I can join the trend. Dollar should pull back and at least come fill this gap. Okay, dollar should please do a little retracement, come fill this gap so that we can join the trend. Dollar is vexing. Okay. Everything is still bearish, 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 bearish. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Any question? Any question? Any question? All right, it appears there are no questions, so that will be all for today's session. I might come on live in New York session. Okay, I might be here in New York session. So let's just see how traders react to the news. Okay, maybe we'll find some good setup in in New York session. Okay, so just stay tuned. I'll drop the link on the various on social media platform. Okay, wish you guys a profitable trading day. Bye for now.